We're back. I'm back. Hi, my name's Steve Jagera, and welcome to another BeerNative beer review. If you're new to the show, check all the stuff that's floating by below. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and also please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and please tell your friends. I can confirm people don't often do that because it puts them out there. It says, hey, I like this thing. Judge me for it. Let's be a rebel and go ahead and do that because it means that other people who like beer will find this video and they will thank you and good things will come your way. So, in this episode of BeerNative, I'm going to be reviewing a new brewery and oddly one that's like really close to where I live, and I'm a little bit embarrassed that I didn't know about it sooner or I hadn't investigated it. So, let's take a quick look, go back to the intro page. Ekuanot Run. It's a kind of a bit of a whopper, a single hopped from Neon Raptor. And Neon Raptor, I've heard lots of good things about on Instagram, on Facebook groups about beer where they talk about it in the United Kingdom. It's making a name for itself, which is cool, right? But frankly, there are a lot of craft breweries I have to get through to try and them all and assess them and go thumbs up, thumbs down. Mostly thumbs up, thankfully, which is awesome. But it's like one of these moments where I suddenly did a bit of research into them and thought, what? So now I'm having to tell you my embarrassing story of how close they actually are to me. So let's do a bit of sharing, shall we? All right. There's Neon Raptor. And do you like their branding out of the box? Yeah, exactly. It's like an 80s Eddie Murphy movie with a dinosaur kind of jamming his head through. I don't know what's going on there. It looks pretty cool. Somehow I managed to lose the other bits of this. But let's click through to About. And we can see, we learn a little bit about, here right away you can get an idea of their branding. They're not just neon by name, but neon by nature. They have some quite meme-y kind of branding, large, big, bright, let's say, well, neon, pinks and greens and blues that really get your attention. But if we scroll down, we see their history, and we can see that they started off obviously very small. They look at the Brewdog Nottingham homebrew contest. They did very well. And then what was weird for me is that they started off in the Stumble in Long Eaton. I lived in Long Eaton, but not in 2016. I'd already moved away. So I missed them by a bit, and they had a 300 liter kit. That's not a lot of beer, by the way. 300 liters that's not much. They moved to Burton-on-Trent for 1,000 and then eventually moved back into Sneinton Market, an up-and-coming but far from gentrified area of Nottingham. And that is where they exist now. I could just go hang out with them, and I will once lockdown is over. So keep following my channel and subscribe, and I will get them in an interview live. That will be awesome because I'm so close. If we look at the beers that they offer, and it's not easy to get beers they offer because they don't make that much. They have a tap room in Nottingham, if you happen to be there. They have a shop that doesn't offer really that much. You can see they've got a few in there, the Griffin Tamer, the Telemetric. Some of these are good, I've heard, because I've not had them. But they've got merch. Hey, why not, right? And I couldn't find out where to buy it. That was kind of a bit of a problem. Which shouldn't be a problem. That's a good sign. If you're a brewery and I cannot figure out where to buy your stuff, that's weird, really. Yeah, maybe you need to move to another brewery where you can make more beer. I did find this frankly terrible website that looks a bit web 1.0, but they have got some Neon Raptor and you can add it to your basket. Many other examples of this were sold out. So if you look hard, you can find this beer. Ekuanot Run. And I did it. I succeeded. In addition to all these things, I have one of these beers, which is totally awesome. Let's check it out. It's in the fridge. All right, so before I jump into this, The reason I'm reviewing this is because my last not beer review, it was an unboxing of a Beerhead's mystery box. I asked people if I should review this one or Double Hugs, and it was a tie, so I'm gonna have to do both. So I'm gonna do it again. I know if you're watching this, this is crowdsourced beer reviews, and the next two on the list. Tell me what should I review if you're watching this? Is it the Pineapple Express Double IPA from Almasty? If you know that, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you're curious about them as a brewery. And then it's the Ale Farm Plethora, an IPA. I think it deserves, it's a 6.2, but look at the difference. What we want, Ale Farm or Almasty? Both A's. Okay. All right, let me flip this one around so you can get a visual on the, and let me do this. What should be next? Ale Farm Plethora or head to head? You tell me in the comments which one you want to see. All right, but until then, the battle rages on. If it's a tie, I have to do both, which is a win-win, frankly. So I'm doing the Ekuanot. We're going to pop that open. Now, what did they say about the Ekuanot? You could actually see it. If we go back, they've just cut and pasted the description onto here, which Ekuanot, if you're not familiar with that hop, and it is a hop, it's a Ekuanot hop, and it's really small. Let's see if I can blow that up so you can read it. Does this site even react to any kind of responsiveness? Probably not. Oh, it does. It does. Good, good, good. All right, great. So it's the third in a series of double hopped New England IPAs. Ekuanot was released in, yeah, they're correct. Was that correct? I think that's correct. Yeah. Let's trust it. So appleberry, mandarin, organge. That's wrong. Is that spelled correctly on here? It's a cut and paste. The can has the same information. No, can spells orange correctly. Well done, you guys. That's fun. But that's a pretty beastie hop, right? So you would expect, well, what am I going to get? What's going to be forward? What's the most forward of those flavors? Because there's no way appleberry, mandarin, mango, and papaya can exist in synergy to make an entirely new fruit, right? One of these is going to lead. Let's find out. Or maybe none of them, and it doesn't work. Out of the can, you don't get citrus. Out of the can, I'm going to cheat. I used to always sip out of the can. I'm going to do it again. Wow, there's a bitter there that is long and strong. That is that's the leading element that I wasn't expecting. Let me just think on that for a moment, right? What's the alpha acid level of Ekuanot? Because I do not have it on the tip of my tongue. It might be really high on long pine. So we're going to pour that while we send the researchers off. It's pouring very clear. For a New England IPA, which is expected to be hazy, not so much in the haze. All right. We'll save that for later because we have other activities we have to do tonight. It's a little late in the evening. But it's a nice slight haze. It's got a long-lasting head, which that's more appearances, but it implies a pretty reasonable carbonation. So that's pretty good. I'm going to take a little smell. It does have that, I like to think of a rubbery feel to it, which is not a pleasant, but actually isn't totally terrible. Hold on. It's got a reasonable alpha acid level. The secondary home alones, they're off the charts because this is like a really long pine. There's also like myrcene, you know that, well, if you know that in hops, a single Ekuanot is going to hang around. But it's the flavor is really quite okay. You have to drink this 3 times to get the real quality. So let's do it again. Then you get to like the fruity things. I would say crab apple if I'm going to say apple. Not delicious Granny Smith. None of those nice flavors that you would associate with something that's more like a Nelson Sauvin. No way. It's just so bitter. It's almost skunk. But I like it. Ah, right. I'm looking off screen. I'm waiting for it's limey. To say it's papaya, which is something they are saying. Where's that site again? I saw an ad for a beer recently that said, "Give me fuel, give me fire, give me beer that tastes papaya." I've got to get that. This says papaya, which is, I guess, a characteristic of Ekuanot. But in order for papaya to shine through, other than waiting a long time for it to rise, you've got to affect the texture or mix it, because you can't just rely on that hop. You got to throw some oats or some lactose, something to soften the blow of the pine that comes from that. This isn't doing it. So the papaya is lost. So if you like really piney, strong, aggressive, slow sippers, this is great. And I do. But it's going to lose out on accuracy because it's not doing. I think they could have tainted the recipe slightly to maximize the quality of this hop. I think they could have done that. So let's score it up. Do I like the I do like the can because it leapt out at me and I went and I laughed. I don't understand the branding. Like Run Forest Run is what I think of when I think of Run Anything Run. I don't know the relevance other than they're just gonna let one hop run, and that's pretty good. Art's pretty cool, but just from an advertising perspective, I like it, so I'm gonna give it 4. Can's pretty standard, so 3. So there's 7. The next step for me is accuracy, and I'm gonna mark it down to a 2 because I think should I go 3 maybe? It is exactly what it said. It's a single hop variety. I just feel like they didn't really everything they did around it. The best supporting actors to this lead isn't they didn't do their best. But that's totally fine. I don't have the solution. I'm a critic. So screw me, right? For my opinion. It's just not quite there. I even think the alcohol level amplified the bad aspects of that hop. So accuracy, I'm going to stick with 2. Uniqueness, 3. It gets a 5 on there, and it's gone from a 7 to a 12. And do I like it? I think it would be polarizing. I think some people would really hate it, but I kind of like it. I think it's too hard to give it a 7. I'm going to give it an 8, which puts me at a 20 out of 30. That is a 3.33 out of 5. I would bet if I go on Untapped, there are people who absolutely love this beer. And I'm going to be right smack in the middle. I hope I'm near the middle, but who knows, right? I just think it's quite aggressive. If you're a beer experimenter, you're like a beer if you claim to be a beer connoisseur, you will like it because it's interesting. But if you're just a beer drinker, probably over the top for you. All right, that's what I'm going to end on. My name is Steve Jaguar. I'm going to try more Neon Raptor because the fact that this beer is kind of polarizing makes me want to try more of this series. So report back. This is my first. I'm really pleased you watched. If you are a fan of beer, do all these things. Does this under ticker just start over at the same point? Like, anyway. I have a website, BeerNative TV. Check it out. Please, though, subscribing is the most important thing on YouTube. That is the end. My name is Steve Jaguar. It's been a pleasure if you're watching this now or in the future. And Steve out.